Second video and I'm already talking about a book. How much more boring can I get? A lot more boring. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is a trip. I read it my sophomore year of high school and I fell in love with the main character. He is heartbreaking and it's so hot in here and I can't turn on a fan and I just have to suffer and deal with it. It's fine. I chose to wear this. This is going to be a 3-part series because I did not have the time nor the energy to do what I'm doing with the first chapter to the other 2 chapters in a week. So, you know. I can't believe I'm saying this, but out of all of the ways to interpret this book, I've chosen to make a video on it being an allegory for being trans. I'm not saying that Franz Kafka himself was trans, I'm just saying that, like, it's easy to interpret the story that way, and I chose to interpret it that way because, well, I am trans, and who better to make this video? Now, I do have a binder full of notes. I say a binder full, it's like 4 pages, but that's a lot to get through. It could be easy to write off this story as some sort of body horror disaster, but a lot of people interpret it as him just being a disappointment to his family, and I would like to take that a step further. The story starts off strong with one morning when Gregor Samsa woke from his troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. As he lays in his bed, he looks across his room and sees a framed magazine cutout of a woman in a fur hat and boa. A lot of people see this as his attachment to his humanity. I, however, see this as an attachment to femininity. Many trans men will try to latch on to whatever feminine aspects they have so as to not disappoint their family. I didn't say all trans men do this, just some. I mean, he spends the whole story protecting it, but you know, getting ahead of myself. He's still laying in his bed because he can't get up, and then the story says he felt a slight itch up on his belly. He pushed himself slowly up on his back toward the headboard so that he could lift his head better, found where the itch was, and saw that it was covered with lots of little white spots which he didn't know what to make of. And when he tried to feel the place with one of his legs, he drew it quickly back because as soon as he touched it, he was overcome by a cold shudder. This might be a little bit of a stretch, but a lot of times dysphoria, for me at least, can feel like an unscratchable itch, and knowing it's there and knowing that I can't really do anything about it in the moment makes it worse. The story then moves on to him panicking because he won't be able to go to work. He's the sole provider for his family, and when his alarm goes off, it sends him into a panic. His mother also tells him to get up, and he just can't. This to me feels like a man trying to force his femininity to continue to fit in wherever it may be, work environment, family, friends, literally anywhere. He knows his family's expectation of him, and yet he still can't bring himself to get out of bed. And then the story says, should he really call for help though, even apart from the fact that all the doors were locked? Even if his family could get to him, would they help him? Would they be able to help him? His employers eventually showed up because he had never missed a day of work, and he tries to communicate with them and more bug noises come out, and it's... His employer then says, he isn't trying to make fools of us, is he? And his mother is panicking because she thinks he needs help, which he does, but you know. It feels almost like trying to communicate about dysphoria with cis people, only for them to not understand and write you off as crazy or just sick. He makes attempts to exit his room, and his family's cheering him on from the other side of the door, and he ends up hurting himself in the process. He's trying to turn the key with his mouth, and it ends up making him bleed. When he finally manages to get the door open, everyone reacts with just abject horror. His mother drops to the floor and hides her face. His father reacts immediately with anger and then sadness and begins sobbing, and it feels like a transphobic family's reaction to someone coming out. He tries to speak to his manager, and the manager doesn't understand a word he's saying. He flees, and Gregor chases after him. and scares the shit out of his family. He watches his father begin to run after the manager too, and he thinks that he's going to help him, but instead, when his father finally gets hold of the manager, it was just for his cane. He then begins chasing after Gregor and tries to hit him with his cane in the head, which would literally kill him. And when Gregor finally realizes what's happening, he runs the other direction and tries to get back to his room fast enough to avoid getting killed, and his father slams the door with the cane. Many trans people face horrible transphobia from people in their lives, and family is not an exception of this. When met with change, people can react horribly, as seen in this book, and it's no different for parents of trans children. There are many more points to be made about this book, but I think I'm going to do that at a later date, so stay tuned for that, I guess. I may not release all 3 parts consecutively because I do have other video ideas that I would like to get done and out of the way so that I can put more attention into this, but they'll be out eventually, so I don't know. Also, this book gets like intense. Not like, ooh, action-packed, drama-heavy, like, no, it's just like sad. And there's a reason for this apple tie. I probably should have saved it for part 3, but I'll probably wear it in the next 2 anyway. This is gonna be a short video. I don't know what to do with myself now. That is all for this video, though. On to whatever bloopers I may have, I guess. Fuck me. I feel like I say femininity weird. Like, that's a weird word to say. It's okay. Fuck me. Okay. Min wet.